Hello everyone, welcome back. In our previous video, we have seen about how to print a number from 1 to 100 to 10 using a for loop, a simple program to print numbers from 1 to 10, right? In this video, we're gonna talk about most important one, and which could be used in many interviews, which they can be asked in many interviews. Factorial of a number using for loop. If you are a fresher, this would be a program which would be asked to print a factorial of a number, right? So let us see how it can be resolved using, programmatically, right? And step by step, we're gonna see how it can be done mathematically, and then we get into how it can be achieved through programming, right? So factorial of a number. So first, most important thing what we need to know is how to find the factorial of a number. What is a factorial of a number, right? So if you don't know what is factorial of a number, it is difficult for everyone to write a logic for the same, right? So let us see how it can be done mathematically, and then we get into programmatically. Okay. So the problem says we need to find a factorial of a number, right? So how to find a factorial of a number mathematically? Let us assume that we have a number n. Okay, if you want to find the factorial of a number, there are two rules which we need to know. One is n factorial is equals to n into n minus 1 factorial. Okay, so we're going to talk about more about it by taking one number, but you need to understand n factorial is equals to n into n minus 1 factorial. And the second rule says that 1 factorial value is 1. There is nothing called 0 factorial value. Okay, so 1 factorial value is equals to 1. So these are the two rules which we need to know, right? Let us see how it can be done mathematically by taking an example and how it can be achieved through programming as well, right? So let us consider there is a 5 factorial, okay, which we wanted to find. We wanted to find factorial of 5, right? So as this can be rewritten as like this, like 5 factorial equals to 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, okay? Or 5 factorial can be written as 1 into 2 into 3 multiplies 4 multiplies 5. Either way, why it has been written like this, let us see that as well. Okay, and then probably we can do jump into programming, how we can write a logic for the same, right? So the next says that finding factorial of 5 as per the factorial formula, that is n factorial equals to n into n minus 1 factorial, right? So it says that 5 factorial equals to 5 into 5 minus 1 factorial. So 5 minus 1 factorial, what is the value of 5 minus 1 factorial? It is 4 factorial. So 4 factorial can be written as 4 factorial is equals to 4 into 3 factorial, right? And then 3 factorial value, it can be written as 3 into 2 factorial. And then 2 factorial value can be written as 2 into 1 factorial. And we know that 1 factorial value is 1. So which means 2 factorial value is, here it can be replaced with 2, and 3 multiplies 2, it is 6. 3 factorial value is 6, and which will be replaced here, that is 6. So 4 multiplies 6, which is 24, which is 4 factorial value is 24. If I say 5 into, it says that 5 into 24, which is 120. Okay. So this is how the factorial will be, finding the factorial of a number, of any number, right? Okay. So let's see. This is how it can be done. A 5 factorial value is equals to 5 into 5 minus 1 factorial, right? So if you could see, this will be given for 4 factorial value finding, and then 4 into 4 minus 1, 3 factorial value finding, and then we're going to find 2 factorial value, and 2 minus 1 is 1 factorial, which means we're going to find 1 factorial value, which is 1. And this will be replaced here, and this will get multiplied and then replaced here, multiplied and replaced here, multiplied and replaced here. If you could see this clearly, every time, okay, every time it says that it starts from 5 and it ended at 1. If you could clearly see that it started at 5 and ended at 1. Okay, every time it is multiplied with some number, right? Which means here after multiplication, we're gonna get value is 24. That is 4 factorial value is 24, right? So prior to that, it has to be multiplied with first, it has to be multiplied with 5 into 1. And then the next step is 5 into 4, which is 5 4 20. Okay. And then this 20 would be multiplied with 3, which we're gonna reduce it, which is 60. And this 60 would be multiplied with 2, which is 120. And then 120 multiplied with 1, it is 120 itself. So it reaches till 121 and then it should end. It started from 5 and ended at 1. So every time we multiply with some number, with reducing one number, it has to be multiplied and it has to be stored. This value has to be stored. So that is the main motto which we need to do, right? So let us see how it can be achieved through programmatically. Okay. So to print, sorry, pseudocode for the problem statement. So it starts from either number or 1 and end at number or 1. So both ways. If you say that it can say, we have seen in our previous program as well, right? It starts from 1 to 10, either 1 to 10 or 10 to 1. If you consider here number, that is 5, here it is 1. If you consider 1 here, the output here it has to end at 5. Both the ways, either way, right? So that's what it means. And then every time you're gonna print fact into I, which means you're gonna multiply the number, you're gonna multiply with I with some variable and store it with the same variable every time. Okay, so which I have explained in the previous slide, right? The same way. Okay, so next one, we're gonna write a logic for the same. So let's see this logic clearly and then probably we can understand it in a better way, right? So it started from number. Here it has started from number and it ended at 1. Okay, it should not be a 0 because 0 factorial value is undefined. We cannot use 0. So that's where I have ended at 1. And it is minus minus because it started from number. Okay, so which means if you consider number equals to 5, it started from 5 and it ended at 1, right? So let us see what are the variables that has been used here, and then we're gonna see how it can be used. So fact equals to fact into I. Okay, so let's see how it can be done. So we have used a variable I and we have used a number. Okay, let us assume that okay. So we have used a variable I and a number, and there is something called fact. Okay, so most of them will get confused whenever what is the value that has to be assigned for this variable fact, initial value. Is it 0 or 1 or any other number? So that's what, most of them will get confused. It should not be a 0 because 0 into something is 0. So in that case, it has to be 1. Okay. So initially, what is the value of I? I value is 5 and number value is also 5 and then fact value is 1. So before entering into this loop. So that's what it is, right? And let us assume that it entered the loop. And what is the fact value here? Fact value is 1 and I value is 5. 1 into 1 multiplies 5, it is 5. And I value get reduced, that is 4. Okay. And then number value still remains 5. Okay. And then I is greater than or equals to 1. So which is true? 4 is greater than or equals to 1. This the condition is true. It will go inside. 4 multiplies 5, which is equals to 20. 5 fours 20. Right? That will get stored in fact variable. Now, next step is the I will get decremented. Now it is 3. 3 is greater than or equals to 1. Yes, the condition is true. It will go inside. So fact equals to fact into I. What is fact value now? 20. 23 is 60. So it will be 60 now. And then I value will get decremented. That is 2. 2 is greater than or equals to 1. Condition is true. So it will go inside. 2 fact equals to fact into I now. So what is the value of fact? It is 60. 60 multiplies 2, it is 120. Right? And 1, I value will get decremented, which is 1 now. 1 is greater than or equals to 1. Condition is still true. And then 120 into 1, it is 120. If you see this clearly, it has done 5 multiplies with 4, multiplied with 3, multiplied with 2, multiplied with 1. Right? So that's what the factorial value which we have seen, that is 5 in multiplies 4 multiplies 3 multiplies into 2 multiplies 1. So that is what it has done. Right? So let me put this in a programmatical way, and then probably we'll see how it can be done. Right? So right. So here we are not printing this value fact inside this for loop. Okay, so do remember this. You can print inside the fact as well. We can see what happens every time the loop is iterating. Even that can be done. What is how the value of fact is getting changed every time. If we wanted to look into that as well, then we can use that printing the fact inside this for loop. Okay, so in our previous video, it is like printing from 1 to 10, which is just to print one numbers every time it iterates, right? Here it is a different scenario. That's why I haven't kept it inside the for loop. There is nothing wrong in that. Even we can do that as well and see how it is getting changed, and the explanation which I have given is correct or not, right? Even that can be done, right? So this can be written in different ways, like, for I equals to number I greater than or equals to 0, right? It is I greater than or equals to 1, and it has to be printed fact equals to fact into I every time, and then print a fact. And then it is started from 1 and I greater than or equals to number I plus plus, and then it has to be printing fact same. So it can be rewritten like this as well. Here it started from number and ended at 1. Here it started from 1 and it ended at number. So here it is decremented one after the other. Here it is incremented. So that is the only difference. So whenever you write increment or decrement, make sure that you have given the right condition to execute it. Don't get confused whenever you use this increment or decrement. Okay. So let us put this in a programmatical way, and then we see how it can be done, right? So I have written a code for the same, like whatever code that has been, explained. So I have kept the same code over here. So if you could see this, I have started the fact equals, I have used a variable, two variables. One is fact equals to 1 because we cannot start with 0. 0 into something is 0. So that's where I have started with 1. Do remember this in case if you get confused, why we have not started with 0. The reason is the reason is 0 into something is 0. And number value is 6. So we're gonna see, from 5 factorial to 6 factorial. We need to find the 6 factorial value. 6 factorial value is, for now, we have seen that is 5 factorial value, which is 120. 120 into 6 multiplies 6, it is 720. Okay, so the value which we need to get is 720. Let us see whether how it is getting changed every time, right? So let us see that as well. The factorial, the fact value, how it is getting changed every time. Let's see on which iteration as well. It is iteration I, value of fact. Okay, for each iteration, what is the value of fact? So even that can be investigated here. And factorial of a number, that is number is, this is the value. Okay, so let me execute this and see what is the output for this. So first it is 1, and 1 multiplied with 2, it is 2. 2 multiplied with 3, it is 6. If you could see this clearly. First it is for first iteration 1, and then we have fact is 1. Okay, and that's where the second 1 into 1 multiplied with 2, it is 2. 2 3 6. 3 multiplied with 4, not 3 multiplied with 4. 6 multiplied with 4, it is 24. 24 multiplied with 5, it is 120. 120 multiplied with 6, it is 720. Finally, the factorial of a number 6 is 720. Right? So this can be rewritten in, with the different logic as well. Just I can change this from number must be greater than, either I can use greater than 0 or this. So both, like I can use greater than 0 or greater than or equals to 1. Both are same, right? So let me run this code and see what would be the output. It starts from 6, 6 5 is 30, 34 is 120, 123 is 360, 360 in multiplies with 2, it is 720. 720 multiplied with 1, it is 720. Factorial of a number is 720, right? Hope it clears the simple program to write a factorial of a number using for loop. And we know that where it has started and where it has ended, how it can be achieved, from mathematically to programmatically way, the approach to solve it, right? So still confused? Let me know what program is confusing. I can make a video for the same. Thank you very much for watching. Happy learning.